Welcome once again. It is the 13th day into June 2025. My name is Patricia Lukoma Mpango. Straight away into our lunchtime bulletin. The Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation is prioritizing the enhancement of value in all manufactured goods to meet international standards. This will be achieved through the promotion of knowledge-based goods and services by increasing domestic productivity, import substitution, and export of products derived from science, technology, and innovation.
The Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation has urged Ugandans to become more innovative to ensure the production of value-added products and services. She made these remarks while officiating at a workshop on value chain addition in the leather and textile industry held in Kampala.
We analyze the value chain. So what do we need? What's the minimum that we need to produce these products? And so we go and pick up those things from where they are. We are picking them up from where they are, such that we might say, okay, in order to make a woman's shoe, we need to have an input of 60%. But what is that 60%? That 60% might involve leather, but it also involves the sole material, but it also involves another type of fabric which we put inside, but it also involves the threads. It also maybe involves the sole has different components. So we analyze that and pick out a few which we should start with.
Dr. Catherine Wandera, who is in charge of import substitution at the Ministry of Science, said that the government aims to see stakeholders in the leather and garment industry produce goods that meet international standards.
Unlock opportunities in the leather and textile value chains. We want to establish areas that could generate value in our leather and textile sectors for to feed into the economy. So you see that we want this activity has been establishing the profitable pathways.
Cosmas Mukiriza, the superintendent of the industrial value chain at the Ministry of Science, argues that if more modified and high-quality goods are produced by Ugandans, they could attract international interest.
I want to reiterate what the President has placed upon us. We must cease to be a mere producer of raw materials or low-quality products. We must become a nation that adds value, that innovates to compete globally, and that's the only way through which we should be able to build prosperity of our people.
Now, a report on child stunting in Uganda shows slow progress, with rates among children under 5 dropping only slightly from 29% to 26% over the past 3 years. The findings were shared during the release of the Zero Stunting campaign results by the Ministry of Health and the Right to Grow initiative.
Launched on the theme Feed Me Right, Secure My Future, the campaign aimed to reduce stunting rates from 29% to 19%.
And I want to say that currently we have a prevalence of stunting of 26%. 26% of our children under 5 years are actually stunted.
The campaign was piloted in 10 districts including Kamwenge, Bulisa and Kakumiru, with focus on promoting nutritious diets and improved feeding practices.
But this number is really still high. There are several factors that could have led to the stunting levels being high. We have talked about the issue of still gaps in coordination among the different stakeholders at both the national as well as the subnational levels.
Assistant Commissioner in the Nutrition Division at the Ministry of Health said child stunting is driven by poor nutrition, limited health care and food insecurity, urging stronger cross-sector collaboration to address it.
A household may not have food for a very long time, and this child continues just to eat very small amounts of food that cannot meet the energy and nutrient requirements, and this can lead to stunting. Some mothers who just abandon their babies, they leave it to the siblings to care for them. So the young ones cannot really care for these babies. They cannot feed them adequately.
So as we implement NDP4, we need to ensure that whatever we are doing, we align our interventions in the area of nutrition, in the area of interventions to do with malnutrition. You need to align yourselves, your activities, your interventions with the NDP4 objectives. So once you do this, then you'll be moving in tandem with what government's development agenda is all about.
Stakeholders underscored the need for integrated efforts across the health, agriculture, education, water and sanitation sectors to address the root cause of child stunting. Cayenne Faith, Robert Katamba for ABC.
Now, Buganda Kingdom, in partnership with Gombe District, have organized an annual agricultural exhibition aimed at training people modern farming methods in both crop and animal husbandry to promote agriculture in the district. The exhibition was opened by a representative of Buganda Kingdom in Gombe, Mugabe Fred William, at Kabala Soke Core PTC Playground. It is being held under the theme Using Culture to Promote Agriculture as a Driver of Development. Mugabe Fred William urged all companies that manufacture farming inputs to ensure they produce quality products to avoid farmers making losses. Participants include Bank of Uganda, Finance Trust Bank, Uganda Herbalists, Gombe District Farmers Association and Agro Uganda Limited, and many others. Now, in digital light, Old Mutual Uganda has teamed up with Rotary Uganda to roll out a digital family light product, a smart, affordable life insurance solution designed for everyday Ugandans. Unveiled at a launch in Kampala, the partnership brought together leading voices, including the Rotary District Governor Anne Nkutu, District Governor-elect Geoffrey Kitakule, and Old Mutual MD Patrick Kimathi.
The Managing Director, Old Mutual, Patrick Kimathi, stressed the importance of breaking culture silence around death and planning, particularly among men.
I realize how important partnerships are, and I believe that is why we're here today, to acknowledge that we can do much, but when we are together, we can do even a greater good for the community. So we are excited to start this journey together. As Stephen said, we are doing it informally, but now we want to do it formally. We have come out to open and say we are here to start, a formal partnership and collaboration with Rotary.
District Governor Anne Nkutu hailed the partnership as a legacy-defining moment.
And the partnership that we are, signing off today is dual. On the one hand, it will help us to do more in terms of service. But on the other hand, it also responds to our members. Because as an organization, members are our greatest asset. And so we are obliged as an organization to take care of our members. And we continuously look for ways in which we can create more value for our members. And the product that we are launching today is one of those that respond to the needs of our members, particularly at a time when they're very vulnerable.
The Digital Family Light product addresses the heavy financial burden of funerals while aligning with Old Mutual's mission of sustainable impact.
It's cheaper to treat you than actually pay for your funeral. That has been my motto.
But thank you for putting this to make sure that we have an alternative for making sure there's something that can be harvested after people have died. My only request as a technology enthusiast that we cannot board ourselves so fast. We shouldn't spend 90 days to be able to get the claim back. So that's a challenge to the team at Old Mutual and Return Circle. Let's make it very efficient so that people can embrace it.
The partnership is about more than insurance. It's about dignity, service, and community strength.
We are going to consistently participate in activities that are aimed at protecting the environment through tree planting, health, supporting communities, through financial literacy sessions. But for us, we are saying through financial literacy, people should be given enough knowledge about how they can achieve financial freedom, how they can also be, get to participate in the economy.
Old Mutual and Rotary are planting seeds of security in households across Uganda, proving that when purpose meets partnership, lives truly change.
This collaboration, this partnership is informed by shared purpose. Shared purpose. And it is anchored on mutual respect, mutual support, mutual interest, mutual understanding, and mutual benefit. And it is a win-win situation.
Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Well, thank you very much there, Sudat Kaye. Now, in our top story, the Vice President, Jessica Alupo, has been nominated as the Woman Member of Parliament for Katakwi District to participate in the NRM primaries on the 16th of July. Alupo and two other ministers for security, Jim Mohwezi, and that of State for Ethics, Lily Akelo, were nominated in a special offer as they will be out of the country on the official state duty next week when the exercise was set to take place.
I, Dr. Tango Doi, as Chair NRM Electoral Commission, duly nominate
Vice President Jessica Alupo was nominated at 10 a.m. as she was cheered up by her jubilant supporters from Katakwi, including members of parliament and Queen Mother of Teso Kingdom, Toto Akaliait. The second person to be nominated was the Minister for Security, Jimmy Muwezi, as the Bujumbura County MP in Rukunkiri District.
Parliament of Bujumbura County constituency.
The third person to be nominated was the State Minister for Ethics. She was nominated to participate in the NRM primaries on 16th July as the woman representative of the Karamoja district of Karenga. Speaking to the media shortly after her nomination, Alupo commended the process, saying it has proven the fourth principle of her party on democracy, and she is ready for free and fair competition.
The process is very simple. The process is very short. The process is very transparent, and I can see the fourth principle of NRM on democracy taking shape in this procedure. I congratulate the NRM Electoral Commission.
She urged all the aspirants to exercise a high level of harmony and desist from acts of violence.
I look forward to a very free and fair election process of the internal party elections of NRM, and I call upon all the candidates who are going to register to participate in the NRM internal elections to be very calm during the procedures, to be very peaceful, and work towards the unity of the people during the elections.
The Minister for Security, who was nominated to contest as a Member of Parliament for Bujumbura County in Rukungiri District, says he is ready to face the race with 3 others in NRM primaries.
I am ready now to contest once again. And I look forward to victory in the forthcoming NRM primary elections.
State Minister for Ethics, Lily Akelo, urged the voters for their support since he was nominated successfully.
And I want to thank the people of Karenga District, my voters. Now is the time. I have nominated. There we go. And I know you're going to give me the flag of NRM. I want to thank you when you're there.
The Secretary General of the NRM pledged the free and fair exercise of the primaries on 16th July.
I congratulate the candidates and I wish them successful campaigns. Just like others have said, we are going to do our best to make sure the campaign is as free and fair as possible. We shall not tolerate indiscipline. We want to give a chance to each and everybody.
Expression of interest still continues at NRM Electoral Commission offices till tomorrow on Saturday. And the Electoral Commission chairperson, Dr. Tanga Odoi, warns that the date will not be extended for any reason.
I want to repeat for the press to echo. We are not going to extend expression of interest. Nomination begins on Tuesday.
Philip Aguta and Daniel Ugemoa for UBC News in Kampala.
Now, in the area of child labor, the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development has announced that Uganda's child labor crisis deepens, with labor cases rising from 4 million in 2020 to 6.2 million in 2024. The Permanent Secretary Agri David Kibenge said thousands of children forced to work in hazardous conditions and other different sectors due to survival for the fittest, while briefing the media ahead of the commemoration of the Child Labor Day.
According to recent statistics, child labor cases in Uganda have surged from 4 million to 6.2 million. The rise is attributed to poverty, the loss of parents, limited access to quality education, and increasing human trafficking and child exploitation.
That calls on the global community to take immediate and effective measures to eradicate forced labor and modern slavery and human trafficking, and secure the prohibition and elimination of the worst forms of child labor and use of labor, soldiers, child soldiers, and by 2025 end all forms of child labor.
Child labor remains rampant in sectors like agriculture, mining, and domestic work, severely limiting children's rights and potential. Permanent Secretary also outlined enhanced government efforts under the 2025-2026 financial year, which include the implementation of new policies, legal frameworks, and strategies aimed at eliminating child labor.
Nationally, Uganda has developed and implemented policies, legal frameworks, and strategies to support child labor elimination. These include the National Child Labor Policy of 2006, the National Action Plan on elimination of child labor 2020-21 to 2024-25 and the employment of children regulations of 2012.
Stakeholders reaffirmed their commitment to fight the growing child labor crisis.
The employers were very committed to ensure that all our employers out there are compliant.
The government and its partners continue to strengthen interventions to protect children from exploitation.
Now, relatedly, Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, in collaboration with stakeholders, has marked World Child Labour Day with a major call to end forced child labour. Let's hear more in this report.
Every 12th June, Uganda joins the rest of the country to commemorate the International Child Labour Day. For the year 2025, the day has been held in Kampala.
We appreciate you all for your efforts, invaluable contribution towards elimination of child labor. We also thank all our development partners for providing financial support. I further wish to urge civil society organizations, including women's rights organizations, the private sector and other entities, to continue your efforts and collaborate your active engagement.
This has been celebrated on the theme "End Child Labor, Let Us Speed Up Action."
Children, especially in your political influence, some of them are using them to distribute your posters, some of them are using them to stone cars, some of them are using them to cause violence. Please don't cause children into trouble.
Held at Golden Tulip in Kampala, the event was graced by a cross-section of development partners, sector players, technocrats, opinion leaders, among others.
We are in a country where your parents borrow to pay for basic education, but some people don't even have access to that money. So as we discuss, we need to look into those issues, because when schools fail, then the children end up in child labor, and then we continue with that spiral of poverty and things get worse. And then when we talk about our national development plans, now for emphasizing human capital development, then it is not going to make sense.
Child labor still remains a critical challenge. According to the 2019-2020 UBOS National Labor Force Survey, child labor in Uganda doubled from 4 million children to 6.2 million by 2021, and largely due to COVID-19's impact.
As the rate of labor-related matters continue piling on the neck of Uganda, government, mainly those pursuing white-collar jobs abroad, State Minister for Labor Anyakun promises to strengthen support and monitoring.
We are going to go use other civil societies. We are also going to work with other local governments to make sure that this is done, and also the forces. We have our sister forces like the police, which have this. Also go down to sensitize to our local leaders, because when you look at the structures of Uganda, we have the LOC1 structures. At the LOC1 level, there is someone who is in charge of child. They don't know what their work is. Immediately they are elected, even at the LOC2 level, at the sub-county, the parish, those people should come on board and we'll be able to work together as a...
This, according to government, will require concerted efforts.
To deploy children for economic gain on behalf of households is to be short-sighted, because when those children are selling groundnuts and generating an income that a family expects to survive on.
Brian Tumwinebyarruhanga, UBC News.
Now, a little bit into the health sector, 50 esophageal cancer patients from across the country who are struggling with swallowing food are set to benefit from a fully sponsored scent insertion at Chabirwa Surgical Center in Jinja District.
Right now,
a stent is a small mesh tube inserted into the esophagus to keep it open, allowing food to pass through. a crucial intervention for patients whose food passage has been narrowed or blocked due to cancer.
And though our eventual goal is to cure people and to prevent esophageal cancer after we find out the causes, and I'll review those very briefly, but the second reason that's quite important is because if someone does come with their esophagus blocked off, they can't even swallow. And so an endoscopy can be done, a tube can be put in called a stent, S-T-N-T, and after that's in, it changes the situation from at least not being able to swallow at all and having to carry a spit cup to being able to swallow liquids and soft foods.
At Chabirwa Surgical Center, 50 cancer patients at an advanced stage are benefiting from free diagnosis and stent insertion. The Ugandan Embassy in Washington, African Esophageal Cancer Consortium and global partners have made this possible.
When it comes to the Embassy and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, it's important for us to find partnerships and frameworks in which stakeholders in the US can partner with Ugandans to be able to, one, find solutions for esophageal cancer patients in Uganda, which can be in the science, technology and innovation area or sector, and this includes the stents, to be able to help reduce the price in which these patients can be able to attain these stents.
Founded in 2019, the Chabirwa Surgical Center was founded to disapprove a long-standing misconception that surgery is either too complex or too expensive to be in rural communities. About 84% of Ugandans live in rural areas and over 75% have to travel over 2 hours for essential surgical care.
The patients make a very small contribution. The highest the patient contributes is about 25% of total cost. Most of them are way below 10 or 15%. Matter of fact, a good number of patients that show up cannot even afford the little contribution we ask for, so we completely waive off. We try our best not to turn away every patient, although we want to encourage patients to own their health through that small contribution.
In addition to the stent procedures, a training session for local doctors and their assistants is underway, focusing on the treatment and early detection of esophageal cancer.
So we partnered with the Uganda Cancer Institute to help with the mobilization of identification of clinicians that could participate in this in this training workshop. And so in addition to that, not only just with the physician, but to identify patients.
The training is being conducted by Dr. David Fraser and Dr. Rahul Pannala, Emeritus Professors of Medicine, Mayo Clinic of Medicine, USA.
Now, still on cancer, the Executive Director of Uganda Cancer Institute, Dr. Jackson Orem, has called on Ugandans to take full advantage of the Institute's enhancement on the facilities and services as the country continues to make significant strides in the fight against cancer.
We are very excited that most of our plans at least will be funded, including the regional cancer centers that we expect to start. We have already spoken about the one in Gulu. We have already funding for the one in Bale, the one in Arua, and then potentially the one in Barara. So all those are really good news. The Molecular Imaging Center, which usually we call the PET, so the construction of that one will also start in the new financial year. Of course, I should also inform you that that project is in phases. The first phase 1 and phase 2 have already been implemented and are ready for commissioning. Uganda Cancer Institute is available. We have the expertise, we have the equipment, we also have the system for handling cancer. And my appeal is that people should come, because right now as I speak, only 20% of our people with cancer actually get into our system. which to me I think is not very good, given that government is putting resources so that these services are available. Of the centers that are functioning, the Gulu Center has both infrastructure as well as equipments. And then also, of course, we already have people who are providing care. So for that matter, we can say the Gulu Center is the most advanced in as far as functionalization is concerned.
Still in the health sector, Uganda Blood Transfusion Services has appealed to the corporate companies to support the blood donation drive by mobilizing their staff towards the life-saving cause. While conducting a blood collection exercise at the Uganda Electricity Transmission Company Limited, Kembabazi Mushinje from Nakasero Blood Bank reiterated that some companies don't reply their requests, while others raise concerns of financial constraints to organize indoor blood donations.
Our mandate is to make sure we have enough blood for transfusion in our hospitals within the country. So today we happen to work here with UETCL in a campaign of mobilizing blood to make sure we have enough blood stocks in the country. And we really appreciate their participation, their effort to partner with us and mobilize this noble session that we are in. Blood is always needed in our health facilities to maintain the people who may run short of blood, especially our babies who suffer from malaria, our sickle cell patients, our mothers who give birth and lose a lot of blood in the process, accident victims, and any other person being prepared for surgery. They really need our participation. We depend on schools. And then we have the other shortage in the community. Usually when we are anticipating this, we come to the corporate entities and we bring in our requests, and then we wait for them to prepare and see the time that will be convenient for them. Because blood donation is a voluntary service that we expect every person to participate voluntarily. So much as we need blood from these entities, much as we need them to participate, we still put the letter on their desk and wait until they are ready to fulfill their corporate social responsibility. They'll come in and participate. But to those who have shied off, we don't have any law that will come to them. Probably it may depend on their budgets, maybe on the time frame to fulfill their duties, because they believe when they take a break, they are off their desks and people are supposed to be paid for the work done. So productivity will be low. Probably.
Now, the Ministry of Education and Sports is intensifying the implementation of the TVET Policy 2025, aiming to enhance skills development and produce graduates capable of thriving in this competitive labor market.
The government, through the Ministry of Education and Sports, is committed to supporting the Public Health Nurses College and other health training institutions as part of efforts to achieve Uganda's Vision 2040. This commitment aims at strengthening the human resource base for the country's health sector. Dr. Kedres, to the agenda, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Education and Sports, represented by the Commissioner for Higher Education, Timothy Musoke Sejoba, reaffirmed the government's commitment to improving skills during the graduation ceremony of the Public Health Nurses College.
Government has prioritized human capital development, including health and education, and this is clearly articulated in both the National Development Plan, but also the Parish Development Model. The Ministry of Education is dedicated to fulfilling its mandate of developing the human resource base for Uganda's health sector.
The principal of the Public Health Nurses College, Angujelu Pakutho Betty thanked the government and education stakeholders for their support, but called for increased investment in infrastructure and staff accommodation to meet the college's growing needs.
Learning is a lifelong process. Therefore, as we see you off this college today, we are now officially seeing you today in such a colorful function, aim at enrolling for the next level. Remember that the globe has employment for all those who package themselves adequately, professionally.
The Principal TVET Officer, Birungi Nsamba Agnes, commended the college administrators and parents for their support and urged graduates to provide quality health care in their communities.
I therefore call upon health institutions to produce health practitioners with necessary skills to quicken the attainment of Uganda's middle income status economy that foster a good health system.
Since its establishment in 1950s, the Public Health Nurses College, the only institution of its kind in Uganda, has equipped a big number of public health nurses with essential skills. I'm Nafka Farida and Henry Muganga.
And thank you very much there, Namfuka Farida. And with that story, we end our lunchtime bulletin. My name is Patricia Lukoma Mpango. Let's meet again at 8 and 10. Good afternoon.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Here's your chance to win school fees for your child